Hey everybody, this is Dave. Welcome to episode 6 of Coronation Radio. Just throwing a quick note in the beginning here. Me and Jake had recorded this back on the 15th, and we just weren't really having a chance to sit down and actually edit it. Even though everything we talk about is pre-Christmas, it's still, I think, going to be a lot of fun to do this. I hope you all enjoy. And again, if there's anything that you'd like us to be praying for you guys on, or anything you'd like to hear us talk about, send us an email, spurgeonaudio@gmail.com. Thank you. Welcome back to, this is episode 6 of Coronation Radio, and it's the second Christmas episode.
Second Christmas episode.
The first
We're
one
back
not outside by a fire.
Right, without the crackling and the spontaneous, but just the ambient noise of Denton Cigar House, cigar company.
Yeah, if they come in here and turn on that smoke eater above us, it's going to be a lot noisier, though. That might be a problem.
Hey, I think we're safe. But even so.
Yeah.
Well, Dave, what have you been up to in the last year?
I've been pretty busy. I got some good news from my job. That's going pretty well. So
That's
we're
good.
looking forward to the next year and what that's going to look like. Just staying busy with that. But we're looking forward to seeing family here pretty soon, which I know not everybody everywhere is excited about that aspect of the holidays. Like I have friends who they're just like, they either just don't go to see family because of one thing or another, or they can't, or things like that. No, that can be hard this time of year because in the U.S. at least, Christmas and Thanksgiving are such family-oriented holidays.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And, not really an easy time to go through if you don't have that context to go back to. So,
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be the first one without my mother-in-law. Passed away in May. I think I talked about it last episode. So it'll be new going through that without her. And we'll be missing her. But she's with the Lord now, no longer in pain. We're praising God for that. We were talking about before this A Christmas Carol. Me and my family watched Scrooged with Bill Murray last night, and we figured we could just make this a shorter episode, just talking about our favorite Christmas things, reflecting on them. And if you dear listener, have any Christmas traditions that you do, please share them to help us get in the festivities and spirit.
Yeah, well, of course, the best Christmas piece of entertainment of all time is, of course, A Muppet Family Christmas. From, I think it was 1986 or so.
Okay, yeah.
Which still maintains that role, that spot for me. But then, of course, that brings us to the best version of A Christmas Carol, which is A Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
With the very serious portrayal of Scrooge by Michael Caine. I remember.
That's right.
Have you ever seen a Muppet Treasure Island?
Yes. Yeah.
With Tim Curry.
Yeah.
I remember. I don't remember who said it, but somebody said Michael Caine chose to treat the Muppets as fellow actors. Tim Curry chose to treat himself as a fellow Muppet.
That's awesome. That's clever. And then. Not to change the subject, but before this, I was reading that famous excerpt of G.K. Chesterton's Orthodoxy.
Yeah.
And the excerpt on the idea that God is eternally young and we are sinful and old, and every sunrise and moonset is him saying, "Do it again and again and again," just like a child. So, but then I was also reading other like commentaries on Chesterton and how especially C.S. Lewis thought he was so funny that that Chesterton believed this mantra that a thing could be funny and true at the same time, and that kind of humor with Christmas, that fellow Muppet reminds me a little bit of Chesterton writing, that quick wit,
Oh, absolutely.
So.
And I'm nearing the end of my semi-annual rereading of Lord of the Rings. I just got to, spoiler alert, the end of the chapter where Aragorn finally weds Arwen after he has become the king.
Wow.
It's that, and I really, again, when I get to that part of the book, after they've gotten Sam and Frodo back out of Mordor, and they're recovering and they're celebrating, and they bring them back to Minas Tirith, and they're crowning him king. It's just such a lovely story and a culmination of all things, and it definitely is something, especially in light of what JT was preaching on Sunday, where he was talking about the return of Christ and the light of Matthew 24. It just is something that really makes you reflect upon the coming of Christ and the final cleansing of all things, and how a lot of people, even people who consider themselves Christians, seem terrified of the idea, but it's such a tremendous hope. And this time of year, I think, is such a wonderful time to reflect on that. It's so much bigger than just presents and trees and lights, although those things are nice and wonderful, and they in and of themselves can point to the renewing of creation in Christ. But it's all just a little tiny down payment on what we're going to see, and that's a hope.
And it makes me think, like, especially like you describing these feelings with Lord of the Rings makes me think about my, not to make it all about me, but like think about my to think about like my I don't know, the walk of the Christian faith, especially like maturing with Christ. I think we spend a lot of time reflecting on our conversion point, when we're baby Christians, but then there's not a lot of, I'm sure there's a lot of literature, I just haven't read it, but it's not as sexy, it's not as entertaining, there's not a lot of popularity behind it. And I just think of, as I mature in my Christian, I look back when I was a baby Christian, and year after year, there would be little things like I feel so much conviction about, but then like you describing the end of the culmination of all things, our hope in Christ. I don't know. It's just, as I get older with Christ and my relationship with Him, every Sunday that I come to church and to kind of celebrate the Lord's Day, I just feel more peace. I don't know. Maybe it's just me being set in my ways, but even through my mother-in-law's hospice, through different trials and that sins that I've committed or committed to me. Not to say that it feels, what is it, trivial, or it feels stereotypical, or there's another word I'm looking for, but I don't want to be pithy. I don't want to diminish other people's struggle with mental health or like sin that they're dealing with. But I don't know. I just feel encouragement as an older Christian, as I keep getting older, that there's just this unexplainable. Every Sunday is a culmination of all things. Slowly becoming, as I go to service, I go to worship. It is a culmination of all things in my life that I feel more peace. I'm sure you feel that way too. Some Sundays are better than others too.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So, yeah.
Well, that's one of those things too, where like especially as you've been reckoning with your own sin over the years, the things that weigh you down, the things that drag your eyes away from Jesus and onto yourself, and that you fight with your whole life to different degrees. I think about that, and think about what does it look like to have peace in this world, and so much of it is rooted in the hope in Christ. Like you think about, like the book of Hebrews talks about that a lot, about how we do not bear our sins alone, but Christ
bears them for us, and we rest in His strength. And so when we are struggling and failing and having to return to Him, I think there's a tendency, especially for people who have like particularly strong besetting sins, to feel like you're failing and you can't be cleansed, you can't ever see success. And it's the reality is that you are holy in Christ, and He will continue to refine. Like I've been working on the next paper, and I've had a lot of other life things going on, so I haven't had a chance to put as much time into it as I would have liked to. But it's on sanctification is going to be the next one I post on coronationradio.net, and that one it's such a big topic because I think it's really misunderstood in our society today. I mean, it's been misunderstood to different degrees by Christians of all generations, because there's a tendency towards a legalistic view of it, where if you don't get yourself cleaned up, you're not going to be saved enough to get saved. And of course, there's the old like Roman Catholic ideas of purgatory and stuff like that. And I'm not here to refight those fights; those things are what they are. But I think it's important, as we reckon with these things, to remember that we are being sanctified, and we will be sanctified when we are before Christ.
And we're such a scientific culture and results-based culture that, like, if I don't feel better, something's not working.
Exactly.
If I don't feel better, the doctor's not working for me. And then we're, in a way, when we're working out our sin and we feel like we're entrapped in more, we have a tendency to accuse the great physician, accuse Jesus of not doing, what He told us He would do. And sanctification is there even when you don't feel like it's there.
I was reading, there's a section, where are you in your reading? This is your first time reading Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah.
Not just watching it. Where are you in that right now?
I have not proceeded. I have not made any progress.
Still slogging somewhere through...
I'm in Two Towers on the foot search between the orcs and the hobbits and the trio. There's
a section in one of the previous chapters I just read tonight where Éowyn, who is... you've seen the movies. You know who Éowyn is.
Yeah. Yes.
She's in the Houses of Healing in Gondor after the battle because she was deeply wounded in her fight with the King Ringwraith.
Yeah.
And she's talking with Faramir, who is the now he's the steward of the city, but he's there too because he was also wounded. And she's like, I want to go and be with Aragorn and the others and die with them, because basically she feels hopeless and she just wants to go and die. And Faramir says, we're called to be here and to wait here, and all we can do is to be faithful in what we are called to do. And that's I'm paraphrasing obviously, but that's essentially what he says to her. And just in that,
that's a good parallel to sanctification, because it's like I want to be here.
I want to be done.
But you're called to be here.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot like Paul when he says, if I had my way, I'd die and go be with Christ. And it's like, no, you don't get to do that, because that's not where you're called to be. But and that's the thing, is that suffering is a thing in this world we really struggle to understand, and it's something that makes a lot of people angry, or of course, why would God allow suffering in the world? And there's no pithy answer to that, other than to simply say the world is the way that it is, and we know that there is a time coming when it will not be that way.
Yeah.
But we must be patient until that time comes. Yeah. And then there will be. That's what we hope for. Mm-hmm. So, but and that's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown.
As a side note, I was reading the Requiem of Mozart, but a new experience for me. So when I was in music school, we studied the Kyrie eleison of that Requiem for our fugue, or for our study on counterpoint, form and counterpoint.
Yeah.
or form class. Not we didn't we had a counterpoint offering, but when I was it was our form and analysis class, and the subject was fugue. Fugue is technically not a form, but more of a compositional device. But the Kyrie Eleison by Mozart, if you haven't listened to it, it is a masterclass in fugue writing, and yet just a wonderful rendition of the classic Lord Have Mercy on Us, God Have Mercy on Us. And I don't know, I found myself just really struck by the Latin, the original Latin. I know it's from the 1700s, pretty traditional Latin mass, same words. And so then I went to my friend who's kind of a crazy Presbyterian, shout out Weston, and I sent him the text, and I'm like, hey, is this just too papist for us Protestants? Or and he was like, it's all biblical, it's fine, it's all from the Bible.
There's a lot of stuff from Catholic worship that is perfectly biblical.
Yeah.
The issue comes in when you start relying on certain elements of the magisterium's teaching and the idea that the Mass literally imparts grace to you. That's when you end up entering into some pretty serious error. But
but then the actual lyrics of the Requiem Mass, I guess, are all taken from different the ones I was reading, at least. I'll have to send it. Maybe we can attach it in the show notes for you guys to read too. But all biblical. A lot of it was like a lot of revelation, obviously it starts off with the Requiem, which is something along the lines of like, God grant them eternal rest, the dead, that is. And then it kind of turns into the Kyrie, which is just purely 3 lines. Kyrie eleison, something else he lays on, and then another Kyrie. Basically, it's Lord have mercy on us, God have mercy on us, Lord, repeated over and over. And that's what the fugue is. It's beautiful. It's like 3 minutes of just the choir singing, Lord have mercy on us, and then other sections of just like, Jesus will conquer the throne. A lot of experts taken from Revelation 20 and onward, of just a vision of God conquering death and the final say all be all, which is also what what Christmas is all about. I was listening to Mark Sayers. Do you follow him at all? Mark Sayers, he's in Australia.
I know the name. I don't really follow him, but I'm aware of him.
Well, apparently he's good this year for he has a podcast called Rebuilders that is really excellent, and on that he was talking about how he's giving a sermon, and it's all going to be about Revelation, the end of Revelation, and just about the gospel fulfilled, essentially. So tying it all together, culmination of all things, and that's what Christmas is all about.
That's right. Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I was talking with somebody last week at church about how so many of the songs we sing at Christmas as Christmas songs are really about the second coming. Like, Joy to the World is about Christ's return.
Right,
There's so many of them. And, of course, the reality is that so much of his first coming is even though it is its own thing, it is also pointing ahead to the second coming. And of course, he won't be coming as a baby, but he'll be coming back to set all things right. And that's just such a tremendous hope that we all have, and we look forward to.
We've been doing a denomination study in our community group, and it's just amazing to me how much the second coming it's kind of a primary issue, as a Christian, that you have to believe that he's coming back soon, and our kids are going to so Ari's going to Bible study fellowship on Wednesday, BSF, and one of the things that they say, good news, he was born as a baby. Good news, he died on the cross for our sins. Good news, he's coming back soon. And for the longest time they would say that, the twins would say that, and I would just say, he's coming back. And my wife would scold me and say, no, Dada, he's coming back soon. So, anyway. Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah. And you've got, of course, one of the most important elements of Christmas, probably a truly critical one, is coming up here this Saturday on the TWU campus. Tuba Christmas.
Yes, sir.
Of course.
Yes.
It's probably the thing that really sets the tone for the whole thing, is a gathering of tuba and euphonium players to play just a lovely assortment.
There's
of
no
Christmas
DSE
carols.
raid,
No.
no Day of Reckoning, Day of Wrath,
Yeah,
like
it's-
tubas.
It's just you'll just feel the vibrations. No, I'm looking forward to doing that. Sammy is all excited to go to that.
You should look into getting him like a euphonium sized sousaphone to wrap around him. Maybe if you can find that. Does that even exist? Like quarter size
I don't know.
sousaphone.
They make you know those plastic trombones. They make plastic euphoniums now too. I don't know. I mean, it would still be pretty heavy for him because he's a little guy.
That'd be a good 3D printing project. 3D print wraparound conical.
Yeah.
But small trombone in the form of a sousaphone or euphonium in the size of a sousaphone.
Yeah, I got to go to, this was ages ago when I used to work for Brooke Mays here in town. I got to go to the Conn-Selmer factory in Elkhart, and we got to see this area where they would like work on developing new instruments, and they had this area where they were 3D printing like a new flute
Nice.
headpiece
with
like a particular, whatever you call the little, it's been too long since I've had to deal with flutes, but where you the hole you blow across makes sounds like, so they're like filling with it to try to see what is most, and so it's like rather than having to make ones out of metal over and over, they can 3D print it and then test it and get at least the idea of what it would sound like. But that was that kind of thing is pretty cool.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, that kind of thing is going pretty good. My band's going to be playing a little bit tomorrow. We're playing for it's a private gig, but that'll be fun. I think Sammy might come along and do some dancing. And
the Big Easy Brass Band.
That's right. You can find us on Instagram. We are the Big Easy Brass Band. It's got to have the because if there's another group that's just on there as Big Easy Brass Band, they're out from like the East Coast or something like that, with nothing to do with us.
Nothing to do with Texas.
The Big Easy Brass Band is us.
Like the Ohio State,
No,
for all
not
of
even
you.
close. I don't want anything to do with that. No.
Draw the line
Yes.
in the sand right there.
Absolutely not. Unacceptable.
Yeah. But you guys took some photo shoots, some
We did.
professional photos.
Yeah, well, so we started rehearsing at the South Dallas Cultural Center a few months ago, and that's just been a really wonderful partnership for us. They've let us rehearse for free in their. They've got a recording studio in there, and it's really cool. If you ever get a chance to go there, if you're ever in Dallas and you go there, I don't think they're open all the time, but they have like a lot of workshops and things. They have art and a little gallery back there, and it's just a lot very wonderful, positive picture of so many of the people making music and art and all kinds of different things through, especially black musicians and black artists and entertainers throughout the years who have not simply made their mark on popular culture, but in this area in particular. And it's really wonderful to see that, because so many people have a really negative view of that part of town. Like they think of South Dallas, they think of crime, they think of poverty, and it's like, no, man, there's so many wonderful folks there and so many things there, and it's really been great to be able to be a part of that. And they had us come out, and they provided a chance for us to do like a group photo shoot and do headshots, and then do even a little bit of a video thing, and we'll be able to use it to make our EPK. So that's going to be really wonderful for us, and they're going to put some stuff on their Instagram and Facebook page too, I think. But
We're coming to a streaming platform to you. You'll hear Dave on tuba.
We really want to get more. We want to get the EPK put together, because then that'll help us to get more shows, like playing at festivals and different things like that. Because once you get the EPK, then you can send it out and get more bigger gigs than just the playing at a club here and there. So that's what we would really like to do. That's how you finally grow the band's name a little bit and get better paying stuff going on.
Yeah, we'll leave some links in the show notes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then I got a little event coming up on Sunday, on December 21st, winter solstice. So the past few seasons, the summer, the fall, and now the winter, and then we'll do one more for spring. Call it quits, but ordinary winter solstice. We called it ordinary because of just when we started it started in the ordinary period of the Christian calendar during the summer. But even though it's Advent season in the Christian calendar, still highlighting those ordinary moments in our lives between in the day-to-day, especially like even though it's Advent, it's very special, and we observe that in our liturgy on Sunday, on Lord's Day Sunday. There's still ordinary, mundane, earthy moments in our lives, and one of those is going to be just the longest night of the year,
the shortest
right before
day.
Christmas. Yeah,
It's the most dreariest time of the year.
yeah, the shortest days.
Yeah, and to tell you what, man, being in Minnesota that day is just the worst because
Yeah.
that's where I grew up, and it was just
Sunlight from 10 to 3.
yeah, just cold and
When would the
cruddy.
sun rise? Like at the latest on those days?
I mean, I don't know that I can say it's
We got
not
Google in
much
our
later
pocket,
than
I
it
don't know
does
why.
here, but it definitely, like when we were up in Iowa for Thanksgiving, it definitely got dark like 30 minutes earlier than it does down here in Texas. So
yeah. Let's see.
you get that. That's why you get that so sad, the seasonal affective disorder.
Yeah, yeah.
Or whatever they call it, where people get so depressed they have to sit under little sunlights just to make it through. But
Right. Yeah.
but that's why we have such big Christmas displays to kind of brighten the scenery a little bit. When
Yeah.
you're,
Sunrise on December 21st, about 7:30 to 7:45, then setting at 4:30.
Yep.
You know.
Mm-hmm. I knew a guy who would always joke. He was just like, it's the first day of summer because after that the sun's only going to stay out later and
That's
later.
right.
I'm like,
That's right. That's a good one. Well, my grandma would always, that's a De Bruler side of my family. My maternal grandma, even the day after, is like, well, the days are getting longer.
exactly.
But then she'd have
Exactly.
6 months to say that. So if there was some lull in the conversation, she'd be like, well, the days are getting longer. And then you start talking about the weather after that.
So Moses was in the bulrushes. That's the thing. We're keeping pretty busy with all that kind of stuff. But
the ordinary event will be live streamed on my YouTube, youtube.com/@JacobThede.
yeah,
We'll post a link. So come on through 7 p.m. Central, December 21st, Sunday night. We'll be happy
102
to have
Maple
you.
in Denton, Texas.
102 Maple Street, and then Jeremy Ottens, who's a member of our church, will be writing a liturgy and some poetry. And then
Yeah, we were talking about that on Sunday. He's putting his nose to the grindstone.
Oh, yeah.
Probably right as we speak, honestly.
Probably right now, hopefully, And then Abby Rainey will be she'll be painting some abstract art just to accompany the words. With watercolor, she tells me, plus interacting with extra material like salt with water and then alcohol with water and see how the colors land. So it'll be pretty interesting.
That's cool.
So we plan to make a published book at the very end of Jeremy's poetry and Abby's art, and then my musical scores, which are text-based, and then still kicking myself because I still got to publish our book. And
I got a lot of work still to do on it. So.
Yeah, that's true too. And I got a lot of writing to do too.
Yeah, it's a lot of editing, and I'm even still want to go back and re-edit some of the earlier stuff. Like I want to expand some of those ones, like the one I did on Satan and Hell, because again, a lot of those ones, these were all written with the context of we have 5 minutes to talk about it, and you're trying to do it in a way that you can read. So that means I'm not necessarily writing the way I would write for a written application as much as I am for one where I know I'm going to have to read it out loud, because you speak differently than
It's a
you
combination of
write.
scholarly with vernacular.
Yeah.
And the average person reads about 150 words in a minute.
Yeah.
So we're talking, what's 150 times 5? That's 7? No.
I have no idea.
Basic math. 750.
50?
750, yeah, something like that. Which, if you're talking about the Bible, talking about the gospel, it's not a lot of words.
No, not really.
But also,
Especially when you have two subjects to cram into one.
that's true too. But then they say that genius is explaining a very complicated thing in simple ways. Simple is not necessarily dumb. Simple is simple.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things I've set as a challenge for myself is to not just talk about it, but to actually apply it.
Yeah.
And I know that's where I'm really trying to put my energy for this paper I was just talking about on sanctification.
Yeah.
Because that's the subject that we can write about, that we are definitely not ever going to have the ability to discuss it with someone in this life that has completed
Right.
sanctification. We're all passing through that
Yeah.
in one degree or another. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Now-
remember. I mean, we got a lot going on, but I remember when we first met, which was when we got into C3 back in 2022.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe it's only been 3 years. I feel like I've known you a lifetime because we have so many shared experiences around Denton.
Yeah,
You know,
and
like,
then before that, going back to drum corps stuff.
that's right. Yeah, the Blue
We
Stars.
have a lot of the
you
same
know,
acquaintances.
growing
from
up in the
back then.
Midwest, all that. I feel like I've known you a lifetime, Dave. You know,
We should do one of these over at Steve's Wine Bar, and then we can
That'd be fun,
do it
yeah.
because he's a Blue Stars alum too.
that's right. Yeah. Interview him. You know.
Yeah.
But I don't
What
know.
was
we-
it
we
like in the Stone Age to play with
pre-tech, oh my gosh, pre-smartphones.
with only two valves, and they weren't next to each other?
It's funny, when I was marching in 2013, I mean, I barely had my first iPhone. Isn't that
Yeah.
wild? You know, like the iPhone came out in 2008. I remember being in high school. The rich kid had an iPhone, Nico, and then it was only really until 2012, 2013 I got an iPhone. I think iPhone 3, which is crazy. But anyway, what I was
Yeah.
trying to say was, it's hard to believe it's only been 3 years. We were sitting in these very seats or adjacent, and I don't know. We were just talking about ambition. You know, like, I just feel like I'm not doing enough, and so we started this podcast, and it's just, we only have 6 episodes, but I feel like there's a lot of richness to that. Like, every time
Yeah.
we've sat down to do it, but much more to come.
Yeah, we try to have something worth talking about when we're going to
That's
do
true,
this.
too,
Plus,
yeah. Plenty
baby.
to live for is what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say. Like, we got,
And you had a baby. That's going to take up some of your time.
Those babies.
Here and there.
God bless those babies.
Yeah, little Manny. Give him and Sammy a show together.
Yeah.
Or Ellie can come on and talk about Sky.
Yeah,
favorite- Yeah.
For all of like 30 seconds before they run out the door, you
Yeah.
know.
Oh yeah, Ari was telling Raven about how Ellie will introduce herself as Sky to people.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like-
yeah. No, I'm Sky. So it's from
Yeah.
Paw Patrol. It's the
Yeah.
These Days Blues Clues.
Oh yeah,
There's always a puppy show, puppy
Everybody
dog
loves
show.
puppies.
You know, yeah.
puppies are the best.
That's
Snoopy,
true.
we got a Snoopy inflatable for our front yard
Oh,
for
good.
Christmas.
Yeah, nice.
We had this other one that it was like a dachshund with a little Santa hat on that Raven loved, and it finally died. So we let Sammy. We were at Home Depot to get something to. We were trying to clean the carpets, and we were running one of those carpet shampooers, and we're like, "Well, Sammy, why don't you pick out a new one?" And he was like, "Snoopy." I was like, okay, look at Snoopy. So he's standing out there proudly, wearing his hat and holding Woodstock, I think, and doing what he does, being
Yeah.
Snoopy. Yeah, no, man, it's a good time, and glad we get to do one more before the end of the year.
Yeah,
What
for
are
sure.
you guys? When are you guys going up to?
We're going to Kentucky on December 23rd. So we'll do the concert on the 21st on Sunday,
Oh yeah,
and then we'll basically start heading up there on the 22nd. It's a 10-hour drive, and so my father-in-law is coming with us, so that'll be fun.
Oh,
We'll
yeah.
have the whole family. My Ari's dad with my parents.
Yeah.
He's going to stay with them. So we're going to Kentucky on the 22nd, and then I think we're coming back that Friday or Saturday the 27th.
That's good.
So it'll be really good.
Yeah, I get a half day on the 23rd, and then I'm off from the 24th through the 5th. So
Good, wonderful.
Yeah.
Who wants to do business during that week?
There is no
There's
reason.
no one there. Yeah.
The people that would actually have anything to order are all on vacation too. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gone. I'm
Yeah.
out of here. No, and we're gonna see her family on Christmas itself, and I'll probably do some cooking for them. I like cooking. I've just come to realize that's really
Yeah.
something I enjoy as an art form, because you get
Yeah.
to really enjoy what you've made immediately
for
afterwards.
sure. Yeah.
But then we're going to go up to my folks on the 31st and be there for a few days with my siblings, and
Nice. Yeah.
that'll be fun. Sammy will get to play with his cousins and
Yeah.
have a good time.
Yeah,
so.
that'll be a really good time.
Well, if you are in the Denton area and any of the topics we have discussed sound like fun, you should come out and participate in them as well. If you are not, like I said, Jake's concert, that's going to be on live stream on YouTube. We'll put the link to his channel on there. You can subscribe to him. And if you want us to answer questions, if you want to read the stuff I've been writing, it's on coronationradio.net. That's our website, where, of course, all these episodes are posted to. But that's where we're posting the stuff we're writing. And if you want to give us feedback, ask us questions, ask us to pray for you, just tell us something that you think is important, you can email us, spurgeonaudio@gmail.com. I suppose one of these days I should make a new email, because that's the same.
But that is a amazing email.
Yeah.
spurgeonaudio@gmail. That's easy to remember, too.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Well,
Merry Christmas.
happy-
Praise God, He came to us, and
Yeah.
we didn't have to go to Him. He wanted to be our friend, and until next year.
Yeah. God willing, we'll be back here again maybe in a couple weeks or so.
Like good Reformed Baptists.
That's
Good,
right.
God willing.
Well, that's all I got for you. So,
Hasta luego.
yeah, I still need to come up with a good closing line for these things.
Yeah, I know. That's our closing line. Well, our closing line is, we're going to pray for you.
Yes.
Anyway,
There we go.
until next time.